I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potato. We're both a little bit under the weather.
Oh,
and
you're feeling it too?
Under the weather, literally, too. The snow.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just have a little bit of, just because of the change in temperatures, I get that.
Sure.
That, like, cough.
The frogginess.
Hi, welcome back to the couch. I'm the Great
frogginess with the fogginess.
Bleak.
Yeah, we're about 5 days into the new year, Greenie, and I'm here too, the Faceless Leon, and this is a podcast about movies and TV, and this is our end of the year podcast that we're doing at the very first of the year, the first episode of the year, anyways.
Starting off the new year, reflecting on the last year after our holiday breaks.
That's right.
Our relaxing holiday breaks while the snow just absolutely pounds us.
Yeah.
I think where I'm at, we're close to about 8 inches.
8 inches? Cool. So, I mean, I'm sure that's about the same here. Yeah. That's kind of crazy, but you guys got the overpass there and probably catch the wind.
It's a little bit
I'm not trying to dox Greenie. Greenie doesn't live near an overpass.
Oh no. There's only 10 million of them in America. That narrows it down.
Oh no. They know about Bloomington though. Oh no.
Well, why would you continue?
So, at the end of the year, we like to get a little cozier than usual, I guess, and talk about what we felt was the best and worst of what we watched. And,
hell yes.
I
love this segment. This is, I am undiagnosed, but only because my psychologist and therapist that I've had said that I'm too long masked for any actual diagnosis. But I am autistic, OCD, ADHD, all of it above. And this kind of list making is just this is my everything. I love making lists. I love compiling things, especially throughout a whole year. I keep these lists, as sad as that sounds.
See where the enjoyment can come from. And I enjoyed doing this. Even though it took me last minute and 8 hours. That's probably an exaggeration. It took me a long time. Only because it is almost mind-blowing how many television series have either a season or a series premiere every year. Yeah. Especially now with all the different streaming sites and all.
That's why I can't do television as well as other people can.
Yeah. Hey.
It's just too much.
Yeah, so we're gonna do best. Let's talk about the movies that we'd seen. How many movies have
the movies that we've seen? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay,
it
so
doesn't
last
have to be
year
all
actually
of them,
was a bad year for me.
Honestly. Maybe
no. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but yeah, last year was pretty bad. I usually get like close to one a week. Ever since COVID, my theater travels have gone drastically downhill.
It's still pretty consistent
to the point where now instead of going every week
compared to me,
well, also like
I went from being like it was mine is more exponential while yours is more probably linear. Just as I got to be a married person and moving just less and less going to the theater, and then the pandemic happened, and then it's been just like basically none. So my list is
mean, that's fair. But no, I used to go every single week. Like I used to love it, but the theater close to us, they have not touched it up at all in 20 years. Like, it's gross, it's beaten down, it smells bad, it's disgusting. Like,
and you're talking about the one with comfy seats.
Fuck, they're not that comfy in my opinion. They're awful
compared to the other theater we had in town.
The problem with compared to the other theater, it's awful. I mean, it is definitely much better. But the reason I try to get there like 20 minutes late, one, you skip all the trailers, and then two, the lights are just lowering, so you don't have to see how disgusting the fucking seat is that you're sitting in. Like, where we're at, our theater is just gross as shit.
I haven't been there for a while, so...
It's nasty. It's so nasty, and I cannot understand why they haven't, why AMC, just to call them out there, haven't dumped fucking money into it. Like, please.
Yeah, I mean, they closed the other one. Theater. Right?
Yeah. It's just sad. It's
and that
just
one,
sad.
like, while that one had older theater seating, I think it was better run.
Yeah, it definitely had. You usually have better options.
Well, I liked the staff too, particularly one
fair.
person. That
that's fair. I don't remember anybody from there.
the person who took the tickets, I'll say, I appreciated her. She really seemed to enjoy her job, and
she's on the west side now. She works.
Oh, she did? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that she kept her job.
Yeah.
Does she still seem to enjoy it?
I do. I guess I do remember her. But no, all of that to say that I only watched 26 movies last year. And
that's
14
half of the
television shows.
Many weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's awful. It's awful. But yeah, 14 television shows though, which is a significant improvement for me. I normally don't watch pretty much any television because it's just there's too much. I just don't understand it. It boggles my fucking mind to this day when I talk to people and they're just like, I can't watch movies, it's too long. And I'm like, you're dumping literal days of your time into an entire TV show. Mm-hmm. Like, a movie is 2 hours, story's done. Unless it's, a trilogy or a Marvel movie. It's just like, you're over and done within 2 hours, whereas with a TV show, you end up binging it anyway, so you end up spending like 5 to 6 hours on it. Mm-hmm. You have to overuse so much more of your brain than you do with a movie. Like,
you know what? I wonder if at this moment in the editing, if I should stop and go back to our other end of the year episodes and see what exactly you've said about this in the past episodes.
You're just going to delete everything I say. I love it.
No, I'm not going to delete it. I might do a side-by-side.
Oh, no. Oh, no. All I do is repeat.
No. All right, I'm just
honorable
really
mentions
hard. Sorry.
Honorable mentions for last year, though.
Mentions, because after you do that, we'll just do my list
for the movies.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2. Really fascinating movie.
Yeah.
Spaceman. Adam Sandler in space with a giant spider. That was interesting.
I wanted to see that one, but I didn't.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's pretty. It's interesting. It's not great, but it's interesting. The Fall Guy.
It's Andy Dano too.
Ryan
right?
Gosling.
That's not his name.
What?
Danny. What?
Paul Dano. Yeah, he does the voice of the spider. That is right. Yep.
What did I say? Andy
the
Dano?
Fall Guy.
Does he have a brother?
What?
I called him Andy Dano.
I don't know why you called him Andy Dano. That's a you thing. The Fall Guy. Moving on. Emily Blunt. That's a great movie. Furiosa. I loved that movie as well.
So far, you've listed movies I wanted to see, but haven't.
A lot of great, smaller, independent horror films. Maxine, Longlegs.
Nice.
Oddity. Great. All of those are phenomenal and interesting. But yeah, that's Wicked. I really enjoyed Wicked.
You seem to have positive things to say about In the TV Glow, or I Saw the TV Glow.
That's in my top 5, so we will talk about that.
What's the... Oh, okay. That's nice.
I shared my list with you.
I know, but I have been pretty sick, honestly. And
I know.
I know that doesn't make an excuse for not reading, but it was my excuse to not do anything for a while. Any more?
That is my honorable mentions for the movies.
Okay. All right. So I watched about a fifth of what you watched. I watched 6 films this year. I went through an extensive list of movies that, were released in 2024, and they include foreign films, and I got 6 films. I don't know how that happened. I used to feel like I was such a movie buff. My family, you talked about, you used to go to the theater every week. My mom, every Friday that she had us, wanted to go to the movie theater with us. So it was every other week, and sometimes more if my dad was doing something on his weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but anyhow, I am a little disappointed in myself, because I think last year my resolution was to watch more movies, and I didn't do that. Though if I recall, your list was only like 14, so it's a big jump.
But my list of movies? Or?
Yeah, I thought last year your list of movies was only like 14. Maybe that was 2 years ago.
I think last year, yeah. Last year was 40, I think.
40?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, this year was a downgrade.
Anyways, I figured I can just do a best of 6, and start from I'll start from the bottom. So this is, I guess, technically the worst film I saw this year too, but it's not. It was good. It's called Remembering Gene Wilder, and it is a documentary about Gene, about his life in the industry. And they say some nice things about his relationship with his wife.
Aw.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a run-of-the-mill bio documentary.
Yeah.
But it uses, some great shots from days that he was there. And I'm not sure I can't recall if they got people in interview chairs or if they just interviewed people and then put it over the footage. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. You had a question.
Do they have Timothy Chalamet reenact moments?
No.
I swear to God.
Actually, now I actually remember they did have them in chairs, and they did interview Timothy Chalamet, but it was like for a short bit, and it was for comedy, comical.
Oh, and also the guy from The Bear, that guy. I think he would make a good Gene Wilder as well. The TV show The Bear. I haven't watched it. But...
the restaurant one. Yeah, he's got the shade over Chalamet. I thought that Chalamet was a good pick for a Wonka prequel.
Yeah.
But I'm with my wife. I also haven't seen that. But I'm with my wife that it didn't need to happen because Gene did it perfectly. Why?
I didn't watch. Yeah, I haven't watched the Chalamet Wonka movie.
Yeah,
but I did find out that there's a term called cute rodent or hot rodent or something like that, sexy rodent. But I guess that Timothy Chalamet and Gene Wilder and the bear guy, they're all sexy rodent face or whatever.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't remember the proper term, but there you go, potatoes.
Well, anyhow, I honestly recommend it, especially if you're a big Gene Wilder fan, especially if you're from our generation and you weren't there when his stuff was being made. You learn a lot about the actual, like, the political landscape that he lived in and the culture at the time and all that. And really a lot of good stuff
in Doctor Who.
About... Yeah, he could have. That would have been amazing. Yeah, if there was ever an American Doctor in the original Who era, it should have been Gene.
Would have been so magnifique.
Here we are at number 5. The Boy and the Heron. And honestly, I didn't pay that much attention to it. I gotta be honest. But I only put it over remembering Gene Wilder because it was a run-of-the-mill documentary, and I had forgotten that I watched it until I looked through a list of movies.
Well, I was also going to say that's technically a 2023
Oh, yes,
film,
it is, but it had a re-release, and the only reason why I included it is because it was the first time that I watched it. I did know that.
That's fair.
At number 4, I have one of your honorable mentions, Dune Part 2.
Nice.
So I am current in the Dune verse-ish. I haven't been watching Dune Prophecy, I guess.
I tried so hard today. I watched it. I tried twice.
Oh, man.
I got through 20 minutes of episode 1 and I fell asleep. And then when I woke back up an hour later, I was just like, oh crap, I gotta back up.
Oops.
And I started right back at, I think I started at like minute 10 or something of episode 1.
Wow.
And I got to minute 15 and I fell asleep faster.
Uh-huh.
And I slept for another 35 minutes and then I woke up and was like, no, we're done.
Today, with all the weather and everything.
Oh, yeah. Whenever the snow falls and I got the heater going, as long as the power stays on, I'm just like...
Yeah, please. Chill. Please, power.
No, Dune Part 2, I really do enjoy...
It's
just
good.
Phenomenal, man. It's so beautiful. I thought
it was good.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it is a really pretty film. I don't know. I liked the first part better. I'll say that.
I do too. But I do like getting more Zendaya. I think she's great in the film.
Oh, yeah. And that was kind of a disappointing part of the first movie was because they really advertised her, but she's hardly in it.
She's in like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. I like this. I like the stuff between him and his mom, Chalamet and his mom in the movie, and
her stuff,
her relationship.
Because I knew what he was gonna be with the people, but I forgot her relationship with the people and what they do with that is so cool.
Especially with her daughter, like her being pregnant. Yeah. That's fascinating.
It's really interesting.
Really fascinated by that. I love Austin Butler in the movie too. I'm really happy that he's taken off because, he was great as Elvis, but now he's just like, that black and white fight scene on that planet. Right. That is like, that's one of those cinematic moments being in a theater that makes the theater worth it.
He made a good psychopath, which I was surprised. I've only seen him in the Shannara Chronicles.
Jeez. You should watch Elvis. I think you'd like it.
And he looks so much like Tom Petty that I had to take a picture of him and write down his name and then look it up on Google. And I didn't find anything.
He could be a good Tom Petty. I don't know if you'd want to do that after doing Elvis. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like on the pantheon of, rock idols, Elvis kind of is a step up in our culture's mind.
Right.
So yeah, he might be like, no, I'm not going to play Petty. That's petty. That would be petty.
I don't know. Tom Petty was pretty fucking popular.
No, for me, it's above Elvis. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say so.
On an aesthetic version. But I'm just saying, if you do a poll, Elvis is gonna be pretty high.
Right, that's true.
I think still.
Yeah. But no, that black and white fight scene, like that whole planet, the technical aspects of that, filming it, like being in a theater, that's what makes going to the theater worth it. Right. Is getting to see something like that.
I could see that being awesome.
Yeah, because it was so beautiful. I was so blown away. But yeah, what was your number 4? Unless you had more on.
Number 3. I just watched last night.
Hell yeah.
Is Hundreds of Beavers.
I love it.
And it was so good.
It's so good. It's like my number 4.
I almost considered putting it at 2, but I think that I enjoyed my number 2 more on different levels.
Blown away. Just blown away. I had no fucking expectations.
It was great. Also, I just wanted to say to the audience, because they're probably hearing it, like, I'm obviously a bit nasally because I've been sick, but I also chipped my tooth, and I can tell that it's being whistly, and I hate it. Because, like, you know, like, I have a little bit of a lisp, and so it's just making it terrible. Just terrible, because I'm trying to avoid touching it with my tongue, too.
Oh, no. That's awful. Did Xena do it?
No. I literally just bit into something. Oh. So, my underbite is like 0.5 whatever units they measure your fucking jaw in.
Yeah.
Less than everybody else's, in the way that rather it jets forward more than most people.
That's fair.
But it's not.
You're more Cro-Magnon than human.
Yeah, exactly. When I have a face, anyways. My front teeth go down exactly on top of my bottom front teeth.
Yeah.
And I've been using, like, my bottom tooth like an anvil to bite into things, basically. And the back of it sheared off.
I've had
like
that.
Just the back of it.
Yeah.
You have?
On the top, on my top, here. My buck tooth. It was a long time ago.
They're not so bad. At least they're out of the way.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was weird for a day, I think, and then I was used to it.
Well, for me, it's right where I'm trying to talk.
Yeah, I can imagine you're hitting that spot a lot. Hundreds of beavers. Hundreds
of beavers. It is almost as funny as the way I have to talk now, but
oh my god,
it's great. It's really funny. So at first, I was a little worried about I was gonna turn it off. Because at first it has this really campy number.
Yeah.
And it honestly feels like a frat bro was trying to make their best interpretation of an late 1800s film.
Johnny Appleseed.
Without doing any research. Yeah.
It was a frat bro. It was Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, I didn't like that part. That was the one part that I did not care.
That's fair.
For. But then the main character burns down the building, and from there it starts getting more Charlie Chaplin-esque.
Yep.
And
it's a fucking masterpiece.
It really works. It doesn't necessarily lose the frat boy thing.
Yeah. It's very goofy, it
blends in really well.
Very artsy deco. Like I don't know. It's got so much style, and that's the thing is, it was I want to say it was Christmas Day.
This guy loved the Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah,
whoever played the main guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's also the director.
Well, Mike Chislick is he's the director and writer. And he wrote it with his friend Ryan. This is a big name. Prepare yourself. He wrote it with his friend Ryland Brixton Cole Twos, who is the main guy. He plays plays Man Gene Kayak.
Yeah,
so, what a great name, Gene Kayak. No, I think it was Christmas Day. I can't remember exactly when. It was one of the wintry days, like, where I was home alone. I was just like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of bored. And I get on YouTube, and this old YouTuber that I haven't watched in like 3 or 4 years, just randomly one of his videos was there, and it was his best of. And I was like, fine, I'll check it out. And me and this guy just like never agree with a lot of movies. So I don't want to shout him out because I don't want to be mean to him. But
I remember who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, he got to his number one, and it was Hundreds of Beavers, and he only showed clips of it and was talking about it, and it was enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm checking that out. Yeah. And like within, like, it's funny that you don't like the opening sequence because that was the opening. So like I got through the opening sequence and I was like, man, this guy reminds me of Blake's acting style because there was so much of like, there was so much of like, so you running through the forest and drumming on the rocks or When Magic Touches Stone. That was straight out of the opening sequence in this movie. Like there's so much like that. And I was just like, Blake's got to watch this movie.
There's definitely some other moments in there that I'm like, yeah, I get this guy's humor.
Yeah, once it gets into the Looney Tunes effects, but no. Yeah, I immediately just texted you and was like, you have to watch this. This is everything for you. And it's just so funny.
I can't believe that somebody made this.
I know.
Is how it is really.
It's brilliant. It's just a man surviving in the wilderness. A trapper helps him.
It's The Revenant. It's The Revenant if it was directed by Charlie Chaplin.
Oh my god. And all of the animals were played by men in giant costumes.
Yeah,
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's so funny. What was your number 2?
Well, my number 2 is a doc that is called Apollo 13 Survival.
Ooh.
So for those who don't know very much about space travel history, Apollo 13 was one of the missions to the moon, but something happened along the way, and they lost engines. And so they had to go around the moon's orbit and find a way to use an engine that wasn't meant for what they're going to do. It was designed to help them land on the moon. They had to use that to accelerate the spaceship so it can make it to Earth before they ran out of air and water. So that's the story of Apollo 13, and they survived. Now, the doc is I say all, there are some, they're not dramatized, but added like, visuals that were all filmed, like of clocks and stuff like that, and dates and stuff. But for the majority, it's all footage from the 60s, the weeks leading up to the Apollo 13 launch and the whole incident, people in Houston in the control room, trying to figure out how to get these guys back home, and the guys on the spaceship trying to, assist in that, but also make sure they survive and not panic. And it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible to watch all the footage of this. Primarily, one thing that I was really intrigued by was how much film and audio they have of one astronaut, the captain of the trio. His name's Jack. I don't remember what his last name is.
Nicholson.
But anyways, his wife. The I don't think it was Jack Nicholson, but imagine if it was. Instead of Tom Hanks, it's the guy who Tom Hanks played. Imagine there's Jack Nicholson in that movie instead. I wonder how Ron Howard would work with Jack Nicholson.
That'd be very fascinating, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really fascinating. I think he would not be able to resist calling him Opie.
They would hit each other.
I don't think he'd have it in him. All right. Well, anyhow, Jack Nicholson's wife was really interesting.
Nice.
All right, my number 1.
Hell
just
yeah.
to get out of my movies. Drum roll. You can do a drum roll. That's really light. Deadpool and Wolverine. The program was canceling it out.
Probably.
I didn't hear that.
Another honorable mention of mine that was on my top 5 for most of the year.
So that's my best and worst 6 films of the year.
Nice. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, I thought, after all this time, so many times playing Wolverine, that it wasn't gonna be great.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was kind of great because of all the times that he's played Wolverine.
Yeah. I mean, even Reynolds as Deadpool, it's kind of just like, Disney's got it in charge now. It's gonna be a little watered down. Nope, they didn't pull the punches. They went for it.
Nope.
Oh, poor Chris Evans.
They went for it, and they did include stuff from the MCU, but not to the point where you have to see the stuff in the MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
But the stuff they added, I thought was really good adds. And I mean that's where the main villain comes from.
Yeah.
But he's just a suit, really.
He really is.
You don't need to know who he is.
But then, the bald lady too,
there's some fun stuff.
the alternate, Charles Xavier, good stuff.
Oh yes. Stuff. Oh man, yeah, it's an alternate sister of his.
Yeah,
Oh, I forget what her name is, but her power is so cool.
It really was.
She's more of a telekinetic. It's more like a Jean Grey, like a true Phoenix Jean Grey, but no Phoenix. It's pretty cool. Yeah. She does some cool stuff. Oh my god, what she does to Chris Evans, and that's all I'm going to say is Chris Evans.
It's so good. He did deserve it, though. Stick around for the after credits. He deserved it. I'm going to try to blast through my top 5 real quick before we take a quick soda pop break here.
I hope we're not.
Number 5 for me, Late Night with the Devil. It technically released in 2023. At South by Southwest.
Re-release?
But it did not get its actual release in theaters, which is what I consider its release date, until 2024.
Yes.
So that's why I was able to include it here. It's phenomenal. It's such an interesting horror. It's a talk show host, David Dastmalchian, the polka dot man from the Suicide Squad and so many other movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You would know him. He's got that handsome rodent look to him. He's a talk show host.
Pretty sure he plays Smoothie and Happy.
Yeah, probably. No, he's a talk show host, pretty much like Johnny Carson, way back in the day, and it's a very stylized horror film. And there's like a demonic, there's like a possession, they're trying to communicate with the occult on late night talk show for Halloween, I believe, even. And it's just this very interesting story of this popular late night talk show host's last episode of television before he was just done. And it's phenomenal. I found it very interesting. Number 4, we already talked about that. Hundreds of Beavers. Go check it out. If you like stylistic films, especially if you've seen a Charlie Chaplin film, or Looney Tunes even, if you like Looney Tunes or Charlie Chaplin, please check out Hundreds of Beavers.
But the thing is, if you has found that you like the concept of slapstick, but haven't been able to sit through one of the movies because of the pace, it's paced really well.
It is. Though
I will say that at some point I had to go walk the dog, and I was like, why don't you pause it? And it was only a third of the way through.
No.
And I was like, oh my God, I thought we were coming to the end of the arc.
Yeah.
But no, and what's great about that too is that the arc keeps on repeating and exponentially.
Yeah, I do love the jokes. The jokes just keep on coming, and it's always repetitive. Yeah. There's a lot of repeat jokes that every single time they happen,
there's a couple of shit jokes that didn't have to happen, but they built into a really funny shit joke.
Oh God, they really did. It was good. No, it's fun though. It's just really fun. But no, I had the same thing where I got up to make food. and I realized I was 40 minutes into an hour and 40-minute movie and was like, oh, fucking what? Even though I was still laughing, that last hour did take a while for me. I was definitely just like, oh god. But it was still fun. Number 4.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The last act, or I'll say there's 3 acts. Yeah. The last act is hilarious.
Oh my god. Yeah. My number 3 is The Wild Robot. That is a DreamWorks animation that just happened. Directed by Peter Brown, the guy, directed by Chris Sanders, written by Chris Sanders as well, the guy who did How to Train Your Dragon.
Not The Wild Robot? The Wild Robot?
The Wild Robot, with Lupita Nyong'o as the robot itself. It crash lands on this island where there are no humans, and its sole objective is to be of assistance. So it is trying desperately to find whoever ordered the robot. It was just lost in transit. It was on its way to do its job, and it just crashed on an island, woke up, and was like, all right, where's the person who ordered me? There's nobody here.
Wow.
So it starts to communicate with all of the animals, and it takes a while. It learns the language of the animals about it. And then once it does that, it becomes, okay, now I gotta help the animals because that's what my objective is. It's just a beautiful fucking story. Pedro Pascal voices this little fox that initially befriends the robot as a kind of a defense mechanism, because it's like, hey, if I have this robot around, nobody's gonna fucking attack me and I can eat everything.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And then when winter happens, the robot has to help all of the animals learn to survive together, because even though they all want to eat each other, they all also have to survive in the same environment together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful tale. It made me cry so much. And Lupita Nyong'o's voice acting is just phenomenal for this robot. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, I love it. Check this movie out. My number 2 is I Saw the TV Glow. Admittedly,
that's really high.
I am bumping this one up high on my list, further than it normally would be. It is not, in my opinion, a 5-star film up front. I believe I gave it like 3.5 stars. This is a very trippy Twin Peaks style, like David Lynchian style horror film. And it works really, really well in a lot of aspects for the LGBT community. Specifically for trans people. It's these two individuals like fall in love. I mean, they don't fall in love, but they become good friends through their love for this one TV show. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the Pink Opaque. That's what it's called. The Pink Opaque. And it's very much like a Buffy style, like goofy 90s, 70s, 80s TV show. They fall in love with it, and aspects of the show just start to take over this kid's life. It's so weird and trippy, and again, it's very David Lynch. If you've seen a David Lynch film and you love his style, like, you have to check this movie out. It's very much like that, but it really is the director and writer, Jane Schoenbrunn, is a trans individual, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, trans, feminine, non-binary. Same as me. Wow. It even resonates more now. But no, it's kind of like that overwhelming fear of not coming out. I went until I was 20, I think 29, 28, until I even accepted internally who I was. Like, I was so adamantly against accepting my own self that it took 28 years. And this movie kind of looks into that possibility. Like, there's a moment where the kid, who is, Justice Smith, if you've seen that Dungeons and Dragons movie, he was, not the Bard. I think it was the Bard. The Bard in that.
The Sorcerer?
Yes, yeah, the Sorcerer.
I'm pretty sure Chris Pine was a Bard, actually.
Yes, you're right. It is the Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wonderful in the movie too, but it's there's a moment where he has to make a decision, and it's very much that decision of, do I come out or do I just stay inside the closet, inside this depressed atmosphere?
Do I come or do I stay now?
Yeah, and it's a beautiful movie. I highly recommend it. It's so fucking good. But it's not a 5-star film, I will be honest. It's very stylistic and to a point where it makes it a little hard to rewatch. But it's so creative, and so for me it was very relatable, and that's why I had to put it up there very high on the list.
I appreciate that.
And my number one movie I just watched twice now is Nosferatu.
Nice. I'm glad you got to see it again.
I had to go back both times.
Is it out? You went to the theater again?
Yeah, twice. I had to.
Nice. I mean, that means it's good.
It's beautiful. Like I admittedly, I am very, very biased for Robert Eggers. I love this man. I think his movies are some of the best in cinema, with The Lighthouse still being, in my opinion,
been real good.
Yeah, The Lighthouse is the greatest thing ever made. Like it's my favorite movie. The Lighthouse is by far, in my opinion, the best movie ever made. I love that movie so much. It never gets boring on watch. And it's incredible what he does with Nosferatu. It's a passion project for him. He's wanted to make this movie since he was 9 years old.
Wow.
And Nosferatu has a lot of differences from Dracula. It focuses more on the female character, whereas Dracula focuses, on Dracula. And on, there's a lot of Jonathan Harkness and Van Helsing.
Let me ask straight, is it a talkie?
Oh, it is a talkie. It is, yeah. It's based off of, obviously, the silent film, but it's so different. Eggers is very much a researchy boy. He loves his research. He loves his realism. And this is the most literal, take on vampires ever. Like, he went to the very depths of these sources, like, to the point where some of the character designs, I'm sure, are being laughed at. Mm-hmm. When I saw Bill Skarsgård's Nosferatu for the first time, I almost wet myself. Like, it was so terrifying. And it's so real, and his voice is so good. He worked with, I think it was a metal singer or an opera singer from Denmark or Norway or one of those like Northern European countries.
Wow.
So like to properly get this voice right, so that it was coming from the right area. It's so good.
Oh, like the accent?
Yeah, the accent, but also just where he talks from, because Nosferatu, his voice is very deep, and it comes from his gut more than his throat. And it's very guttural, and his breathing is, you spend so much time hearing this man breathe. It really creeps you out. It's so
those
disturbing.
Sound like good choices.
It's
Bill.
so good. But I will also say it is crazy sexual. This is not a movie you want to see with family. I do want to see it with you and Sarah, though, when you guys watch it, because I fucking love this movie. But I told a friend at work, it was so funny. I said, "Oh, are you going to go see Nosferatu?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think me and my husband are thinking about going seeing it." I was like, "Oh, you guys are going to love it. Just don't take your kid, okay? Because it's really sexual." And I mean, like, really sexual. And they were just like, "Oh, okay, I don't think he's interested anyways." And then they come back a week later, and she's talking about it. And she's like, "It was so good, but we did take the kid." And I was like, "Why?
Why? I told you."
The kid is traumatized. But no, there's legitimately there's a whole sequence in this movie where I was just blown away visually. Like, Robert Eggers, cinematographer for I think most of his movies, if not all of them, Jaron Blaschke, he's just brilliant. He has such a beautiful eye for cinema, and it's just that there's if you know the Dracula story. Oop, my alarm going off. If you know the Dracula story, it's when Jonathan Harkness comes to the castle of Dracula, and Nosferatu. That whole sequence was just so fucking beautiful that I was just blown away the first time watching this movie. It's gorgeous. Go check it out. Number one movie for the year for me.
Oh God.
We ran through that real fast. Let's take a soda pop break, I think, before we come back with our best TV shows, and then we'll really quickly recap with the shite of the year.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll be right back.
I need water.
Because I am out of my drink.
I love you.
Hi, Zena.
If you want to be in here,
you gotta lay down. Okay?
Oh, hi, Zena.
If you want to be in here, you gotta lay down. Yeah? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Down.
Hello.
Okay, I hear you now. Well, you gotta lay down then. Lay down, Zena. Yeah. You be good. Let's watch out for those paws.
Welcome back from our soda pop break. Yeah, let's get with it with the 5 best TV shows. I'll start with my 5th best of the year. Maybe it falls on your rankings. I do not know. Legend of Vox Machina Season 3.
It was pretty good. Pretty good season. It did not make my list of 8 so far.
That's very fine. That's very fine. It's fun. I love the continuation of the show. The dedication to oh good God, I'm blanking on his name. Lance Reddick. Reddick, yes.
Yeah, as Thordak. Yeah, he's fantastic.
I was thinking Chronicles of Reddick, and I was like, no, it can't be Reddick. It can't be his last name. But no, I love that dedication to him. His voice acting is...
Who is it? Lance Vin Diesel?
Lance Vin Diesel, is that right? I think. Lance family. No, it's fun. I love it. I love the where the story's going. I mean, I already know where the story's going thanks to the campaign, but there are some changes that they make that I think are emotionally great. And that's my number 5. What's your number 5?
That's number 5. My number 5 is this a lot of anime. I watched a lot more anime this year.
Hell yeah.
A lot of true crime. Now, I will say that none of the true crime made it into my top 5.
Thank God.
But some of it was pretty good. Anyhow, I have here, I think I'm going to tie it between 2. Because it's too... No, I can't. Because one I clearly like better than the other. So, Rising Impact is an anime that had its 2nd season this year. And it's about a little golf boy.
Oh, okay.
And he likes golf. So it started with him being like in this small village with his little friends from around the village, and they just wanted to be able to hit something the farthest as they possibly can. And they figured the best way to do that was with a baseball bat.
Of course.
But then this pro golfer comes to their island to unwind. She's taking a vacation, and she goes to their rundown golf course because nobody goes there to golf. And the little boy follows her because he's the first person she meets because it's an anime. And she hits a golf ball, and he's like, holy hell, how did you do that? And then she lets him try, and on his first hit, he hits it like 300 yards. It's one of those kind of things. Throughout the season, he just is able to hit it farther and farther. This being the first season of the show. In the 2nd season, he's joined Camelot Academy, and everything starts being King Arthur themed.
Ooh. Interesting.
His name, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the kid's name is, but anyhow, it's just so endearing. And he's like just got the best unbreakable spirit ever.
Hell yeah.
And Gawain. His name is Gawain.
Oh, nice.
I think.
Green Knight?
It might be a different different character. Well, anyhow, Lancelot is one of his best friends.
Nice, love it.
I remember that. And Lancelot has the great ability to putt. Like anytime they're on the green, it's usually one shot.
Can confirm.
And Lancelot can putt.
He can putt, baby. His shorthand or his small game. What is it? Small game? Short game?
Short game.
Short game.
I think. Yeah.
His short game is quite
but
good.
Anyhow, so they have opposite ends of the game that they're really good at, right? And Lancelot, along with this woman that brought him to Tokyo so that he could be start learning how to be a pro golfer. They teach him that like it's not just about hitting the ball the farthest. In fact, some courses you don't want to hit it that far.
That's very fair. I was best at scorekeeping.
So it's great. I got kicked off of the golf club, the golf team rather, in high school. The one season I tried out for it, and it was funny. There was only like 30 of us, and he said, "We're not going to have any cuts this year, so don't worry."
We got banned, but that's a different story. My number 4.
I was just bad.
My number 4 was X-Men 97. Just magnificent.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention.
Thank you, Disney.
I think it ranked 9.
Yeah, you were wondering where the X-Men were. Here, the X-Men are right here.
That's true.
Right here on Disney Plus.
True. They did do it.
The 90s X-Men brought back to life.
It was a great continuation of the cartoon.
Yeah, it really was. Yep.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of the voices back.
Rebirth.
There were some changes, of course, but I think it was phenomenal. It was a good continuation. I really enjoyed it. I liked where the story went. The animation was a little goofy, and I love that. That's the 90s feel of it.
No, it did have. It felt like they tried to do the animation that was at the end theme song in the first season.
Rogue's butt was missing, I guess. People were upset about that, which is fair.
Rogue's butt was missing in 97?
In depths, yeah. I guess people were mad about Rogue's butt got a remodel, and people did not want it to get a remodel.
She did have a one hell of a booty in that show. That is Christ, true.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
But Rogue's character is really interesting in it. We did a whole episode on it, so please check it out.
Check it out. Good shit. Your number 4.
Not my number 4 is another animated series, not an anime, but an animated series that Amazon picked up that made its premiere, its pilot, on YouTube. Years ago. And that is Has Been Hotel.
Okay.
Now, the idea, and here's the thing, they don't put that episode on Amazon. So I do recommend watching that first because it is a continuation. It is not, you can watch it without and pick it up because, it's really the first episode of a TV show. Anyhow, Lucifer's daughter.
Nice.
Lucifer's daughter wants to help save the souls of hell. Like, she thinks maybe after all this time, maybe they should be trying to improve these souls instead of just torturing them. So she builds a hotel that's kind of like a rehabilitation center for demons and souls that wish to conform.
Aww.
The animation is real wacky and like stretchy but angular, and there's a lot of bombs and curse words, a lot of sexuality. I mean, it's hell.
Nice.
Like it's hell, but like the spirits are a little bit more free to do what they want as long as it's fucking causing chaos.
Yeah.
And they might die, but they don't die. They just kind of start over as, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
They said something about it at one point. But anyhow, I like the world that it creates. They fight angels all the time. And, like, in fact, there's, like, this system with heaven that the angels come, like, every year and just, like, massacre a whole bunch of them. And, and it's like a deal that God made with Lucifer or something.
Jesus.
Anyhow, great fun. If you like the independent art theme or, scene rather, the independent animation scene, or like Vox Machina, you like this.
Hell yeah. I love it. And it ties into my number 3. Yeah, that was Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a very fun...
Oh, man. I don't know why I didn't put this on here. I definitely watched that because we did an episode.
Yeah.
But it didn't make it that high for me.
But no, definitely check it out, everybody. I was really fascinated by it. I was really upset that it got canceled. And that's why it kind of made it onto my best of, was because of how much I was touched by it getting canceled. It had to be on the list because clearly I was affected by it. It was a very fascinating show. I enjoyed the storytelling and the characters. And check out our episode on it. It's there for you.
Yeah, it was good. And I think a good episode too. I'm big nerd for the Greek pantheon. And I'm kind of glad I didn't put this on my have watched list on accident. I don't know why I didn't just look through our list. I would have seen it there. But I think maybe not having it on the list made it so that I didn't have my cultural Grecophile, bias. Because I do think that I like everything else that's on this list a little bit more. So my number 3, I believe we have an episode on this as well, is Fallout.
Hell yeah.
I think Fallout is probably one of the best interpretations of a video game.
Very fair.
Ever.
Very fair.
Into film.
I think
Last of Us. I can't really think of something. But The Last of Us is very good, but that was already kind of a film.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very I love Fallout. It was one of my honorable mentions for TV shows. I didn't list my honorable mentions because I didn't watch enough TV shows for that, but no, it's really fascinating. I like what's her name? Ella Purnell, the main female.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a bit of an honorable mention for its second season that came out 24. She was in Yellow Jackets. Oh. And in the second series, spoilers, she plays a corpse. So
nice.
Yeah. I guess that probably freed her up.
Oh my gosh, the ghoul in Fallout too. What's his name?
Oh, the ghoul. Walter, yeah, a very classic actor that I don't remember.
Walter.
He was big when we were younger.
Goggins. Walter Goggins.
Okay. Well, anyways. He did a great job as fun. This cowboy ghoul character.
Yeah, he's fascinating.
Very good character.
It is fun.
What'd you do for number 3?
For number 2, the Penguin. Yes.
Nice.
We also talked the Penguin.
Nice.
Phenomenal storytelling. I love taking at DC Comics or just superheroes in general and giving them a drastically different view. And Penguin is kind of a catty corner to that. We have a villain, of course, the Penguin. But like he's already set in this established world, and how they built this story in that world without affecting Matt Reeves' overarching plan, supposedly. It's just beautiful. In its own right, it stands alone. You don't have to watch Batman to watch the Penguin. Yeah.
No, not at all. Oh, not at all.
Good stuff.
Like, this could have nothing to do with Batman.
Yeah.
And it would be fine.
Yep, exactly. Kristen Milioti as Sophia Gigante. Award-worthy. Hopefully she wins awards. It's brilliant acting. She's beautiful. Yep. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Number 2.
That's it. That's your number 2.
That's it.
Okay. My number 2 is another anime. Dan.
Nice.
And, it's pretty great. I don't know if you've checked it out.
I have not yet, but I've been told by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's sadly one of those shows that's fallen into that effect where I've been told by too many people to the point where I'm just like, the hype's too much.
Fair enough. I wasn't going to check it out, but I really wanted to watch a new anime one day, and I convinced Sarah to watch it with me, and she said she would, and there's a lot of animes that we watch the first episode of, and then we don't get into it.
Yeah.
But this one, we're both immediately like, wow, that was fun. Oh, I'm not going to remember their names, but, Momo. Yeah, Momo is the main protagonist. She is the granddaughter of a medium, so she believes in ghosts, and she really wants a nice boyfriend, that's like also like nonchalant and shit and says things like I'm an awkward guy and whatever. But she notices this nerdy kid getting bullied on and goes interrupt, and his name is Ken. His name is exactly the name of an actor that she has a big crush on. Oh. And he accidentally says his lines a lot too. And that's the one thing that's not very well explained. He must be very popular in Japan, but it's not somebody that I know of. Anyhow, he's really into UFOs and other occult things, but he doesn't believe in ghosts. He believes in aliens, but he doesn't believe in ghosts. And she believes in ghosts and says there's no fucking way that aliens are real. So they challenge each other by making him, they start calling him, Orgatu or something like that, just cause she doesn't want to call him by Ken because that's her crush's name. She sends him to like the most haunted place she knows in town, and he sends him to this place where there's been a lot of visitations from aliens. He gets possessed and she gets abducted by aliens. Nice. And while she's being abducted by aliens, she figures out, well, first off, the show was naughtier than I thought it was going to be. Put that out there for people. This scene with the aliens does get very sexual.
Hell yeah.
In the way that you would think it would.
See, there you go, everybody. We're just like classic white critics. Sex makes our top 5 list right at the top. Nosferatu for me.
But this is not why I like this. This is not why I like this. It has a great story. The humor is great. And, so while she's being, nearly molested by these aliens, she figures out that she has psychic powers. And so she's able to use the psychic powers against the aliens and against his possession, the other main character's possession. So she makes it so that he can control it and use it to fight aliens and other spirits and demons and stuff. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, so they become like a superhero duo, and it's great.
Nice. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, and her grandma, super hot. Hottest grandma on television.
Hell yeah. Well, that's worth it just alone.
Eat it, Jane Fonda.
Sorry, Betty White. My number one, my top show of the year, and probably my favorite thing of all last year, except for Nosferatu. I'm biased also. Doctor Who season 40 or season 14 or season 1, depending on
it was really
how
good.
You look at the marketing.
It made 8. It made number 8.
Hell yeah. Nice. Hey, nice. That's good. I like that. I'm very biased.
38 series. No, 39, because I forgot to include Chaos.
No, it's very fascinating. I love this show so much. It's not the best that it's ever been. Season 40 isn't. But I really appreciate what Ncuti Gatwa's brought to the role. I think he is a beautiful
Ncuti
doctor.
Is an excellent doctor.
Yep. All the haters, I think, are just absolute idiots who have their own personal issues that maybe they need to look into. If you're complaining about the doctor crying too much, maybe start speaking to a therapist, you emotional asshat.
It's also
that's his biggest complaint. Everybody complains.
Has the doctor not been crying?
No, apparently not.
I feel like they're...
No. Well, apparently,
What?
also Shooty cries in every episode, which is true. He does cry in every episode. Yeah. But at the same time...
But he's free.
Yeah, he's more emotionally in touch with himself. Like, I love it. I think it's beautiful. Some of the episodes are a little janky and goofy and not the greatest, but the episodes that are at the top of their level are some phenomenal episodes of Doctor Who. Like, I love this season. I am very excited for the next season. The Christmas special just came out. It was so beautiful, and I loved it. Oh, can't wait. So much more, please.
So, it's the number ones now, huh?
It's number one.
Okay. So, mine will be quick because we already talked about it. I thought The Penguin was...
Hell yeah.
I watched nearly 40 series this year, and The Penguin, I thought, was the best. And
I fucking love that.
I was going to include second seasons as well. And I guess I did because of Rising Impact. It was just phenomenal.
It was great.
So what did you put above it? How could you?
Doctor Who. Just kidding. Doctor Who.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You did it first.
We're on to our worst. And oh, am I excited to talk
can
about
I do a very quick honorable mention?
Yes.
I will be quick. The one that I thought might tie with it, Rising Impact, was an anime that came out this year. It was called Delicious in Dungeon, or Dungeon Moshi. And it is about an adventuring party that delves into a dungeon, and they need to survive, so they start cooking the monsters. Very, very shortly after they meet this dwarf that teaches them how to cook the monsters properly so they don't die. It's fantastic, really cute, a lot of fun. That's what I'll say about Dungeon Moshi. The next thing, number 7 on my list, Batman Caped Crusader.
Oh, nice. I wanted to check that out.
Heard of this?
I haven't watched it yet, no.
Okay. So, it is done very much in the style of the old animated series with that, like, 50s into 60s vibe.
Nice.
Some of the characters have been, I'll say, recasted race-wise. I think the Gordons are black, if I recall.
Okay.
That's nothing. But the big change that I thought was fantastic is that the Penguin is a woman, and she is so good.
Nice.
So, you know how, like, the Penguin, like, I feel like the Penguin is usually, he is given the, admiration and, respect of other people because of the position that he has finagled his way into. This Penguin is very congenial. Like, she's not, she still looks like the Penguin. She's not necessarily, what we would,
she's not an attractive
culture
penguin.
Deem an attractive woman. Yeah. But she is I would say for the other Penguin interpretations, she is attractive. But anyhow, she owns the ice
lounge,
the Icebox Lounge, the Ice Lounge, whatever. And she uses it as a front for the, all the doings that she does, like the Penguin, but it's very under the table. Like, people don't know about it. I feel like the Penguin is the most obvious gangster while being a super fancy pants in the comic books. But yeah, she's a lot more sly than I feel like he's presented as.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to check that one out.
But it's just great. Yeah, you gotta check it out. I thought it was a great callback to that classic time of superhero animation.
Yeah.
And
the style looks beautiful.
I loved it, and the costume was great. The bat suit's great as well.
Hell yeah!
I like it. It's different than the classic animation.
Nice.
Lastly, I like I said, I watched a lot of true crime. I watched 2 series that have like 15 seasons. I've been stuck at home, folks. Anyhow, One that I wanted to mention that I watched a lot of and got me really hooked was called Signs of the Psychopath. And I think it had like its 13th or 14th season this year.
Good God.
It just got me. Each episode is a different story about a psychopath who killed somebody. And it goes deep into this person's psychology and stuff. And you know, they spit out some statistics at you, these are forensic scientists, rather than forensic psychologists, rather. And they say that 1 in 100 men are psychopathic or have psychopathic tendencies.
Dude, I can believe it.
And I'm like, Jesus, I know at least 2 then.
I can honestly tell you the amount of crazy in my brain and the amount of testosterone in my body went down together at the same time.
Yeah,
as more estrogen went into my body and as less testosterone stayed in my body, I felt way less psychopathic.
Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, to go off of that, they said the statistic for women is so small that they don't even have a statistic. Yeah. But there was still at least 4 to 10 episodes, I want to say, that focused on women. And they were probably some of the more interesting episodes. The last thing I think I wanted to mention was also along those lines. And it's just real quick, called, This is the Zodiac Speaking. And so it's about this family that has come forward and decided it's time to talk about what they went through with Mr. Allen. You know who that is, right? You've seen the film and know about the Zodiac.
Which one was he? Was he the heavier set man? That was...
Yes, yes, he's tall. And this is the guy who they really suspected did it. He
clown
had a Zodiac watch.
American Horror Story.
Yes, he did it. That's right. Yeah. He's played by the clown from American Horror Story in the movie. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Anyhow, he was a teacher. He was a teacher, and that's how these kids met him. He became involved in their lives because their mother was single, and but he used times where he was taking these children to like the beach or something to leave them. And they remember these weird things. And then they remember that it correlates with the murders that took place in a very similar location as they were just hanging out. Jesus. So, like, it's just too many coincidences line up.
Yeah.
And so they eventually bring it up to their mom. And she is like, no, I don't want to talk about that. He's a good man. We're not going to talk about that. Then he passes away. And she says, okay, I know something about Mr. Allen, but I'm gonna leave it for you after I die. I'm not gonna tell you. It's on this tape. And so they watch this tape, and it's basically him saying, yeah, I did it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I did it. And you guys helped me get away with it, so thanks. And whatever. And she's like just totally cool. Like she's sitting next to him. If I recall correctly. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Anyhow, highly recommend, especially if you're interested in old serial killer stories.
Nope. I'm alright.
It's too real. Is it too real? Like, I just understand. I just don't understand what the difference between that and slashers, except for that it's real.
Yep, they're fake. That's the whole thing. I like the cinematic viewpoint of it. I intend to write a serial killer horror story in the future, in which case I will do research on realistic individuals, but just the idea of actual people, like, I think stewing in the depression of others and the mental, like, stigmas of others that, like, drive them into that serial killer mindset. I just fear for all the people who are so involved with true crime, because it's just, you become so desensitized to the reality of it that you forget how traumatically horrifying it is, how these people are real, how they exist. And it's just like, it should not be a normalized thing. And I think it's keeping it as a fictionalized, like, this is fun, haha, like, you know, we're looking at it from a good arm's length standpoint for entertainment, as opposed to, let's deep dive and figure out how we can become like them too. I know that's not where it's coming from at all.
But I do get what you're saying. Yeah. And in fact, some of these stories that are included are about people who use true crime shows to try to get away with it. But then they still do like the stupidest shit to get caught.
Well, yeah. No, I've had like conversations with friends who've mentioned that they're like, oh, I know exactly how to get rid of a body. And I'm just like, that is not, like, you're saying this like it's a fun fact. That's not a fun fact. Like, it's disturbing.
Yeah. Why are you thinking about that? Like, think about something else. Yeah. Like, are you doing research for a character? Like, what?
Yeah, like, I don't need to know. I'm sure I can, if I ever need to know that kind of stuff, I can look it up and find it. Yeah. But that's not a fact I want in my head.
I think I got into the true crime so heavy this year because I can turn it on and I can do chores.
That's fair.
Because it's mostly interviews, so I just gotta listen.
Right. And I like the style of true crime. I like that like, I like fictional true crime stories. I know that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. But there's been, well, have you watched Only Murders in the Building?
I've seen the first season, and it's one of those shows that I really enjoyed and was like, I'm going to watch it more. And then, you know, I was caught up, and then they've had like 4 seasons since then. I was like, oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What happened?
Oh, God.
Did I really age that much?
I'm old. Let's select the shit.
So I think that's really the last thing I wanted to mention. There's one more thing that actually... But the title speaks for itself. It's another docuseries about a family called 6 Schizophrenic Brothers, and that was very interesting. I recommend that.
Nice.
It is. It's very interesting, and you know, like it's kind of sad that this one family went through this so bad, so hard, but it's really interesting what they learned from this family. Yeah,
I can imagine. The shit, my worst. My 5th worst film. So this isn't the worst film. This is
film
5th worst. Well, it's not even. It's just overall. It's not even film. It's not even. It's just overall of movies and TV. It's Argyle, spy drama. Henry Cavill, not Amy Adams. I always say it's Amy Adams. It's not Amy Adams. It's Ron Howard's daughter.
Is this the one that he had the mustache for? No, that was a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that was years ago, man. That was like a decade ago. This is Bryce Dallas Howard and Henry Cavill, and it's Sam Rockwell's in it as well. And I enjoyed it. I do remember enjoying it. It's in my bottom 5 because it was boring. You know, it's like, it was such like this, like, it was so heavily marketed, so flashy. And then it was just like, when I see it, I'm just like, oh, this guy is that guy. Like, I pieced everything together. And it's like, normally with a spy film, I can't. But with this type of spy film, it was just too obvious. It was so easily just be like, boom, boom, boom. I know the plot, and now I'm just bored.
Well, all of my bottom 5 are TV series.
Yeah, of course. We talked all 6 films.
But my bottom, I did enjoy throughout. It's just I couldn't think of a 5th thing that I disliked. And there's even some things that I only watched the first episode of on the list. So that, you know, that doesn't, it's hard to put them on the bottom without giving them a full chance.
Yeah.
And I think that I would like them more than this series. It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's a very good series.
Yeah.
I think very well acted. I enjoy Donald Glover a lot. And I enjoyed it all the way through. It's just with everything else that I watched. Like, for example, Ariel. Ariel is a kid's show. I'm not gonna put this kid's show on the shit list.
Brie Larson would
even though I only
you.
watched a couple of episodes because I was at home where my mom runs a daycare. And the reason why I'm not going to shit on it is because they do a great job of merging the classic cartoon characters like Flounder and Sebastian with this young version of Ariel, but they are using a black animated person. And I appreciate that they're carrying that on from what was honestly highly criticized for no reason.
Oh, but she couldn't sing.
The remake film. I didn't see it, so
no, it was all the criticism was dumb.
But
it wasn't that good, but it was just
that was the most of the criticism that I heard about was that she was black instead of a white redhead. And it's like, she's a person who lives in the sea.
Yeah.
What?
It don't fucking matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's like people are complaining about Doctor Who changed the gender of Isaac Newton. And people were just like, Isaac Newton's not, he should be white, guys. It's such bullshit. You can't just change historical figures like this. This is such bullshit. And people were just like, came at him and were like, there's no such thing as weeping angels and Daleks and Cybermen, you dumb fucks. It's a fantasy fiction show. Like, it don't matter. You don't have to have everything exactly
He also
accurate.
saved people from Pompeii. Shut up.
God damn. Is it time for my number 4 worst?
Yeah, 4 worst.
Uzumaki. 4 episodes. 3 episodes.
It's disappointing.
No, 4 episodes. It was 4 episodes. It was so disappointing. It was so, that first episode.
The first episode was bonkers, though.
I saw that first episode and I was like, oh, they got this. This is loyal. This is beautiful. I'm liking it. And then,
100% producers doing.
Yeah. It was awful. Once it kept going and the animator just got worse and worse. Oh, the animation for that last episode.
But they did put the whole, they did kind of get the whole story in there. I'll give them that, but it could have been so much better and longer.
I don't know why they didn't take their time with it.
It was disappointing.
They cut out so much.
I think, honestly, I'm going to bump my number 4, which was Worst X Ever, and put that instead. Because Worst X Ever was another doc series, and it really wasn't that bad. It was just my least favorite of the crime doc series that I've watched. And it was about people who started living with somebody and they turned out to be fucking awful. And, they survived that encounter with them, but, that person either ended up in jail because of what happened or has a restraining order. So that's what the show's about.
Jeez.
And it was okay. That's all I'll say about it.
Nice.
What's your number 3?
Salem's Lot, for the same reason as Uzumaki. It was just disappointing. It was like, why'd you even do this?
It could be good.
They've done it before. This is a movie that's been made. I think this was like the 3rd or 4th time they've made this fucking movie, and it's just the modern day Dracula. Is all it is. He literally just took Dracula, set it in Maine, and changed it around. But what Stephen King did was that story is beautiful because it really dives into the town, into the mindset of this town and the characters and everything. And the characters are really fascinating and they're disgusting and awful. And as they die, you find the ones that are worth rooting for. And what this movie
also bleeds into the Dark Tower for no reason.
With Father Callahan. Gotta love him. But with this movie, the remake by Gary Dauberman, it's just like, why did you remake it? There was nothing that was brought to the table. There's nothing new. Big action scene takes place at a drive-in, which had some interesting set pieces, admittedly. Like, I did like what they did with, there's a moment where the sun is setting. They have to take out the drive-in theater big screen so that there's enough sunlight to kill some vampires. Like, that stuff's cool. I like that. That was funny. Like, that was good stuff. But for the most part, it was just so stupid. And they even redid the shot from, I can't remember who did the original movie, the miniseries. I want to say Brian De Palma, but it's not. It's Toby Hooper. He did the original miniseries, and there's a shot of the boy floating in the window, and it's very iconic, and it's a really good horror shot. And they literally, like, copied it, like, the exact same shot, and it looked uglier in this movie. And I'm just like, and that's a miniseries from the late 70s. Like, the fuck you doing? You can't make a better looking shot than the late 70s. Like, awful. Salem's Lot just pissed me off. It was so boring and stupid. And I was like, why did I watch this for Halloween?
Oh, God. So, my number 3... Another one that just wasn't bad, and honestly, I think... So, it's called Grimm Variations, and it's an anime, and they take a different Grimm fairy tale each episode, and they do some kind of setting or ideal spin on it or something, to make it modern. But the people telling the story are the Grimms, the Grimm brothers, to their little sister who's sick or something. And anyhow, the only reason why I was kind of disappointed with it is just because I've seen better interpretations of each of the stories that they reimagined, I feel like. And, that's kind of the problem with doing something with the Grimm fairy tales, is that everybody's done it.
Yeah.
You had this setup of the actual family there that I feel like they could have done something more, but if you're going to do an anthology, just go for an anthology. You didn't need the introduction. I think maybe those extra couple of minutes each episode could have strengthened your stories. But anyways, that's why that's at 3.
That's fair. Now, my number 2 is Death and Other Details. Not really excited for this show, but mildly excited. It had some elements that I enjoyed, like Mandy Patinkin. I love The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies, and probably my favorite after The Lighthouse, honestly. And
then Tracker. Huh. No, is he Tracker? No.
What was that?
He's in the movie, in the MASH movie. Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember who, though, but he's not Trapper, no, that's somebody else. Trapper. No, I enjoy Mandy Patinkin, and he plays this, like, he's supposed to be, like, the world's greatest detective, which is a trope that's getting really annoying, like, just stop it. If you're not Hercule Poirot, or if you're not Sherlock Holmes, like, just fuck off. We know you're not.
Then just be a good detective.
Yeah, you don't have to be the world's greatest. It's so stupid and overdone. And it also had Rahul Kohli, who I just said his name horribly wrong. I don't know why I put emphasis on that. Rahul Kohli. He's in Midnight Mass. He's the sheriff in Midnight Mass, and great
really
actor. He's in a lot of the Mike Flanagan
really
shows. But like there were really elements of this show that I was mildly excited for, but as it just kept going on, and it's like a Hulu show, I think, I kept hating it more and more. Like, it was just so stupid and convoluted and over-sexualized for no fucking reason. Like, that's another thing about television. I know I've complained about this every single time we've done this. The best and worst. But another reason I can't get into television is because they understand that most audiences, especially American audiences, can't follow a show unless there's sex sprinkled in there everywhere. And this show was severely affected by that. It was so over-sexualized that I was just like, I could not care. Like, I think the leading lady has sex with like 5 different characters, and each one she acts like she's in love with, and I'm like, we stopped pretending like we're understanding and believing you're in love with any of these characters way back in episode 1. So just stop trying to make that a story element. We know it's fake. Like, goodness.
Oh, goodness. So my number 2 is another another crime. True crime. But hey, you know, I recognize this one was not very good, especially in its the first half of its show. So it had a new series this year, and I believe it was its 8th, and it's called American Monster. It is similar to Signs of a Psychopath in the way that they and all these people are Americans too, so there's something like, you know, it's just funneled down a little bit more, and they go into these people's family life, and you're trying, and what the problem that I have with it is that they're not upfront with who the killer or the victim is. So you're sitting there kind of guessing who the psycho, like, who's the killer's gonna be. And it's like, okay, this is kind of gross. I don't want to be suspecting of these innocent people who get murdered. Yeah. Yeah. So I watched the whole thing. And I was like, all right, I'm going to let this one be the last true crime binge on this binge. And then immediately Max recommended Evil Lives Here, and I watched all of that one too, and it was better. It was much better.
See, a murder mystery would have been fine. Like, if it was like fictional, yeah, that'd have been great.
Yeah, but it's not.
That's disgusting.
It's not. It's every episode, it's new people, you're trying to figure out who did it, and that's not fun.
No. That's just as disgusting as my ultimate worst thing I watched this entire year. Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
Oh no,
dude, it's so funny. He's a master. You know, he filmmaking. Like,
yeah, I gotta say, I thought he was passed away.
Apocalypse Now. I know everybody did. Apocalypse Now, Godfather, like The Conversation. Go see The Conversation. That's like one of the people sleep on that one. That's great. That's like one of the best. Gene
Eyes
Hackman.
Wide Shut.
What?
Eyes Wide Shut.
That's not him. That's Stanley Kubrick.
Oh shit! I could have sworn that was Coppola.
No, but no, he's phenomenal storyteller. But the thing is, he oversteps at the same time. He's done some really awful shit that people know. It's like, yeah, this guy. Sure, he makes some bangers, but at the same time, he really makes some awful shit. And this is just awful. Yeah. He's been trying to make this movie for decades, like 3 decades.
Oh, so that's why we haven't heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. He poured his own money into it, like $200 million of his own money into this film. And it's flopped so heavily. Like, its budget here is estimated $136 million. Its box office is $14 million. It's so bad. And it's Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, like a bunch of big names.
The potential to be good.
Yeah.
It's just, he's trying to make a silent movie about libertarianism.
No, it's not a silent film.
No, I know his isn't, but the original.
It's not. You're thinking Metropolis. Metropolis is a 1920s.
This is Megalopolis.
Yeah, this is Megalopolis, which is even dumber. It's trying very hard to make parallels between modern Earth, even though it's a fictionalized Earth, like a completely different history. Yeah. But it's trying to make parallels to Earth. I keep saying Earth. I mean America. It's trying to make parallels to modern America and the fall of Rome, and it just fails so fucking hard. It could have been so goddamn cool. There's so much that I would have been very excited and interested about, but it's just so stupid and ugly and boring and I was so confused in the theater. Job, huh? And I think I started out. I think this was the movie that I had 8 people in the theater when the movie started, and when the credits rolled and the lights came up, there was like 3 of us left. Like people, it's so bad that people were just like, "No, I'm done. I can't sit through this. I paid money, but I can't. That money's gone. I don't care."
We know somebody who would try to get their money back.
Yeah.
We do. Okay. That sounds like it's pretty bad.
It's awful.
I won't watch that.
Yeah.
But
I do recommend
my least favorite thing. You do, huh?
I recommend it just because it's awful. But don't pay money for it. Don't pay money. Like, if you can find it, if you see it in the garbage and you're just like, what are you doing here, buddy? Like, go ahead, pick it up, pop it in.
Oh, yeah, I love the garbage movies I've found in my life. So my least favorite thing that I watched was honestly Agatha all along.
Oh, damn.
I don't know. I just kind of felt like Catherine Hahn wasn't taking her own damn show seriously.
It's fair.
And she was the only one. But the reason why but with her on that level, the rest of the characters I couldn't connect with either.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It was a flop.
And she's the villain.
Definitely was a flop for me.
It flopped for me. It flopped for me. But, at the same time, I like Catherine Hahn, and I like her as this character, so I hope, if she comes back into the MCU, she takes it more seriously, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember liking it, but it's definitely one of those things that the further I've gotten away from it, the more I forget about it, which is never a good sign.
I think when I finished it, I liked it.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it was good.
Now it's just rotten in the fridge, and you're just open it up, and you're like, I shouldn't throw those apples away, but they are starting to make a smell.
Well, if you want to get a fresher opinion on the rotten apples, you can go and watch our episode, listen to it, rather, on Agatha.
I was probably praising it. What's wrong with me?
No, we were both. I recall you agreeing with all my negative opinions and then being like, well, I still liked it, but maybe it wasn't good.
Well, that's been fun. That's been a very long episode. Yeah. Our best of. I love these.
Yeah, we hope you like it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. And here's to a beautiful new year of many opportunities and lots of films that I'm just not that interested in seeing right now. But hopefully as we get closer to them, maybe that'll change.
We'll see.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night.
Shoo-ba-da-bop.
Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.